Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for this week's reflection on chapter 18 of Gentle and Lowly. And it's a chapter with a very strange title. The title is Yearning Bowels. Now, what is the author talking about as he writes about God's bowels? Well, hold that thought, because I wonder if you've ever known anyone who was so passionate about something that if you cut them, you suspect they'd bleed that very thing. For me, growing up, I, as you can tell by my accent, I didn't grow up here in Ballina in Ireland, but instead in Sydney. And when I was growing up, I was a massive fan of the Cronulla Sharks. It's a football team, a rugby league team, and they were my team. And I would have said, if you cut me, I would bleed blue, black and white. But something strange has happened in the 10 years I've lived in Ireland. And that is my love for the Sharks has slowly dropped away. There's no one to talk about the games to. I don't get to watch it because it's on at some crazy time at night. And there's no one else to share the passion with. And so the passion has just slowly dropped away. And so what I thought was deep down, I've come to realize it wasn't as deep as I thought it was. Well, the question we look at in chapter 18 is that what God's love towards us is like? That yes, he loves us, but there's limits to that love. And if we cross a certain invisible line, I'm not sure what it is, but if we do something bad enough, or if we ignore him enough, or if we're just not good enough, then he won't really love us anymore. And we're left with this fear of, have I crossed that line? Will I cross that line? What does it take for God to no longer love me? Well, the passage here that's quoted in Jeremiah chapter 31 is a great comfort for us. It says this, it's talking about God's people, and it says, "Therefore my heart yearns for them. I will surely have mercy on them, declares the Lord." And the word used for heart there, it's a different word that's used elsewhere in the original language. It's a word that, older translations don't translate it as the word heart. They put the King James Version puts the word bowels. And it's a way of saying that God yearns for us and shows mercy to us deep down in his guts. Now, God doesn't have guts, he doesn't have bowels, but it's a language that's trying to say this is something that is so deep down within him. There's no, like me, losing my passion for the Cronulla Sharks. There's none of that with God in his love for you and I. And so the author asks the question, what does my heart yearns for him? What does this mercy-filled, guts-deep love look like in flesh? And he says we don't need to wonder, because it looks like a Middle Eastern carpenter restoring men's and women's dignity and humanity and health and conscience through healing, through casting out demons, through teaching and embracing and hugging those around him. And it looks like Jesus going to the cross and dying in our place to forgive us. God's love for us is not just for our Facebook version of us, the very best we present, the us that we want the world to see. It's for the real you and the real me, the one that is hidden from everyone else. God knows what we are like, and yet his love for us is a yearning from his guts. Now, it's a weird language to use, but it's trying to describe this depth of love that should absolutely blow our minds. And so the author finishes with this urging us to respond. Repent, he says, of your small thoughts of God's heart. Repent and let him love you. Not the ideal version of you, not the fake version of you that you present to the world, but the broken, corrupted, rebellious, sinful you who needs to come to him and find forgiveness. God yearns for us and shows mercy for us from his very guts. Thanks for joining me this week. I hope that's given you food for thought, and more than that, that it's enlarged your vision of who God is and how he feels about sufferers and sinners like me and like you. Hope to see you next week. Thanks very much.